Hello and welcome to the Alba Method. So today's session we are going to be incorporating the entire body. We're going to be moving slow and with intention so we can really explore the details within our transitions and within these shapes. We're going to be using 2 blocks today. If you only have 1 block, that's okay. 2 is better if you've got those. And today's session, like I said, we're going to be moving slow. So really focusing on your breath, focusing on what's going on in your body, and getting out of your head. When you're ready, I'll meet you on the mat. Okay, today we're going to start on our back. And you're going to want to grab 1 block and just keep it next to you for now so that it's easy to grab. But start just by rolling onto your back and pulling your knees in towards your chest. And then just release your feet underneath your knees. You can bring your hands to your belly, down by your sides, wherever's comfortable for you. And take a moment to gently close the eyes or find just a soft, gentle gaze. And take a breath in. And really give your weight to the mat as you exhale. Just pause here for a moment, scanning the body from the crown of the head down to the tips of the toes and just getting that feedback on how you feel. And with every exhale, try to soften tension in the places that we carry it most, the neck and shoulders, the jaw, between the brow. And just allow yourself to really come into this present moment, into this space. And then from here, if your arms are not already down by your sides, bring them down by your sides with the palms facing down and walk the shoulder blades underneath you ever so slightly, nothing forced. And just feel the backs of the arms start to gently press down into the mat, gently press through the fingertips, maybe wiggle the toes and press through the feet, and just feel the entire back side of the body on the mat. And there's some space between the low back and the mat. There's a small gap there. So I want you to start to close that gap. So start to press gently your low back into the mat. You feel your pelvis tilt just ever so slightly. And then gently start to lift the hips. And then slowly, slowly lower. Good. Pressing down through the center of each heel. Pressing down through the back of your head. Do that again. Inhale, lift the hips. Just pause. And slowly release on the exhale. Working to keep our shins vertical with the mat. So rather than moving the knees forward, try lifting the hips straight up. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, lift the hips, squeeze your glutes on the way up. And exhale, slowly release. Grab your block. And as you inhale, gently lift the hips and slide that block right underneath you so it's on its largest flat side. And allow your hips, the back side of your hips, the sacrum and the pelvis to really rest onto the block, giving your weight to the block. And just pause here, feeling that elevation through the hips, feeling that pressure, that compression through the back side. And allow yourself to really relax. And you may need to make little adjustments, but you really want to be able to feel the back side of the pelvis supported by your block. My hands feel most comfortable by my hips. You can keep your arms down by your sides, but just relax here. And again, keep pressing through the back of your head ever so slightly, the backs of the shoulders, so that we feel some slight energy through the upper body. Again, keeping the gaze soft and the breath fluid. Feeling that breath move into the chest, into the upper body. And then from here, start to lift the hips, grabbing that block once again, and just slide it out from underneath you, and release your hips back to the ground, and just notice that difference. From here, go ahead and cactus the arms, and just drop your knees gently to the right. And then inhale, coming back to center, and gently dropping them over to the left, getting that block out of the way. And inhale, coming back to center, pulling that right knee into your chest. Just pause here, keeping that left foot underneath you. Take some ankle circles in one direction. And again, we're moving slow. Just concentrating on the breath and what we're doing. Pull that knee in a little tighter to the chest. And then start to take some hip circles. So releasing that grip on the knee, opening the knee like tree, and spinning that leg all the way down. Again, we're moving with intention. So we're keeping that left foot stable as we isolate the movement right through that right hip. Allow the toes to really guide the hip open. Good. 2 more in this direction. Again, moving nice and slow, but again, finding your own rhythm. And then that starting position is the knee pulling back into the chest, interlacing the hands around the knee and just pulling the knee in closer. And then we're going to switch directions. So you're going to extend the leg first and hover that heel about 1 inch above the mat. And then you're going to spin those toes out, taking that leg a little bit out to the side at an angle. And then you'll bend the knee and pull the knee back into the chest, just letting it move kind of naturally. When it's ready to bend it and pull it back into the chest. Again, we're keeping that left hip stable, and you'll feel some popping, you'll feel some clicking. Just releasing some of that static noise. Pull that knee back into your chest, just pause, and just notice the difference. Go ahead and extend your heel to the sky, and we want to bring our heel slightly away from our body, so really giving the weight of our leg to our hand. And you can let your foot relax. And try not to shrug the shoulders up too high. Try to let the shoulders relax and use your hands to grip the back of your leg, and then start to pull your heel down towards your glute, almost squeezing your hands with your calf muscle and your thigh, and then extend that heel up again. Good. Do that 2 more times. And extend. And 1 more. Extend that up. Good. And from here, you'll bend that knee. Take that ankle to the top of your knee and flex that foot. So just pause here. Feel that knee pressing away from you. Spin the toes away from you. And if you feel okay, you can start to grab the back of your left thigh and allow that right knee to open, a gentle figure 4. Again, nothing forced, nothing strained. Just pause. Good. And then releasing that right foot right underneath the knee, stacking that heel underneath the knee, pulling your left knee into your chest. Pause. We just switched sides. Allow the shoulders to relax. Set it up on this side. Take a breath in. And just exhale. Good. Releasing your grip on that left knee, taking those hip circles on this left side now. Pulling the knee into the chest. Opening that knee like tree, spinning the leg all the way down, and then pulling that knee back in. That's that full rotation, moving clockwise with that knee. And again, just noticing what you feel, where you feel it. Not moving too fast, not moving too slow. 2 more. Noticing the difference between each side, taking a breath. Good, and then pull the knee back into the chest. Come back to that starting point. Just pause in between. And then extending that heel. Hover it 1 inch above the mat. Moving slow. Spin those toes out first. Taking that leg out to the side at an angle, and then pulling the knee back into the chest. And again, just let it go to where it naturally wants to bend. Nothing forced, nothing strained. Just noticing the difference in the hips. Good. 2 more. I keep kicking my block. Good. 1 more. And pull that knee back into the chest. Good. From here, extending that heel up to the sky, holding that leg, and just let that left foot relax. Just pause, noticing the difference. Taking any organic movement. And then start to pull that heel towards the glutes. Squeeze the hands with your calf muscle. And then extend that heel up. So just feeling some slight activation through that quad, through that hamstring. Try to let the left hip stay rooted into the ground. Good. 2 more. And last one. Extending that heel up. Just pause. And then bending that knee, taking the ankle to the knee. Pause here. Let that knee fall open. Press your right knee and your ankle into one another. Spin the toes away from you. And then when you feel ready, go ahead and grab the back of that thigh. And now we're working to bring that right shin parallel with the ground. So lift that right heel up towards the sky, just gently, and bring it in line with the knee. And then again, let your hands support the legs. Press that left knee open, spin your left toes away from you. Take a breath in. And just pause on the exhale. Beautiful. Good. Releasing now, pulling both knees into your chest. Just gently rocking side to side. And making your way over onto one side and pressing yourself up to a seat and scooting back towards the middle of the mat. Good. Grabbing one of your blocks once again. Here we're going to take the feet a little long so we have this nice angle. And we're going to press through the feet. Grab your block. So your block is going to be out in front of you. We're going to find a gentle activation here. So gently squeezing the block with our hands. That moves the shoulder blades away from each other. And then pulling the low belly in, finding this nice long spine. Feel your feet grounded and rooted. So you're just going to move slightly to the right. You're going to lift the block up overhead, stretch up, and then you're going to bring that block back out in front of you and come back to center. Moving to the left, just shifting a gentle twist. Lift the biceps as you sit up tall, and then bringing those arms back out in front of you, come back to center. Again, twist to the right, biceps by the ears, reach that block up, come back to center. Good. Move to the left, arms out in front of you, arms up above, and then arms out in front of you, come back to center. Again, breathe. And come back to center, moving slow, feeling some activation. Good. We've got two more each side. To the right, block overhead, back to center, pause. To the left, up overhead, out in front of you, back to center, pause. One more time each side. Good. Feel that core turn on, those hip flexors. Last time to the left. Good. Coming back to center. Beautiful. Go ahead and crossing the ankles, just take that block and shift it underneath your seat so that you're able to feel supported through the hips. And we want to find the heels stacked, so moving the knees away from each other so that we're able to kind of let that pelvis shift forward, bringing the hands to the knees. Sit up tall and roll out the shoulders. Good. And then inhale, you're going to reach those arms up. Interlace the fingers and press your palms to the sky, keeping the biceps by the ears. Now pulling the low ribs in, keeping the shoulders stacked over hips. Good. Just take a gentle stretch to the right, keeping the hips heavy on that block, and then over to the left. Good. Coming back to center, we're going to create this cat and cow of sorts. So you're going to bring the arms right out in front of you like you did, pressing the palms away from you here. Push away as you pull the shoulder blades away from each other. Tuck your chin to your chest, finding this cat round spine. And then as you inhale, you're going to lift the arms, lift the chest, open the chest ever so slightly. Try to bring the biceps behind the ears as you lift the gaze. Good. Again, arms out in front of you as if you're pushing something away from you. Move the shoulder blades away. Press through the palms. And then inhale, biceps by the ears. Open the heart, open the chest. Again. Nice and slow. You should feel those hips moving on the block as well. The whole body's moving together. Good. Last time. And then here, just release the arms down by your side. Notice the difference. Take a breath in. And let it go. Or let the shoulder blades relax down the back and just drop one ear down towards one shoulder. Feeling some length through the neck. And gently come back to center and switch sides. Good. Gently coming back to center. Look over to one side. Doesn't matter which, we'll do both. And then come back to center, looking to the opposite side. Being intentional with your movement. Do that again. Good. Really finding that rotation through the neck. One more time. Good. Coming back to center. Shrug the shoulders up towards the ears and move the shoulder blades down the back just a couple times to feel that difference. Take a breath and check in. Beautiful. And then go ahead and roll over those knees and release that block. And here you're going to grab both of your blocks and we're going to bring them into a tabletop position. So we're going to find the biggest flat side here. And we're going to use our hands so that our palms are flat on the mat. Bringing the knees right underneath the hips and taking the toes and tucking them under for some support. Pulling the low ribs in and just pause here. Push your hands into those blocks. Feel that lift. And then just start to take the shoulders past the wrists and then take the hips towards the heels. Good. So getting a little foot stretch here, taking the shoulders over those wrists, getting into the hands and hips towards the heels. So working into those hands and feet at the same time, the wrists, the ankles. Feel yourself gripping those blocks and pushing into them as you shift forward. A couple more. And pause here. Good. Find a cat round spine. So push into those blocks. Take your gaze between the thighs. Really lean into those hands. And then rather than coming to cow, just come to a neutral position. Good. Now pushing into the blocks. Lift the gaze. Stretch the belly. Tilt your hips to the sky. Shoulder blades want to slide onto the back and then move through that neutral position as you roll back into that cat round spine. Push the earth away. Good. Slowly moving back through to cow. Nice and slow. Good. Getting the whole body involved. Paying attention to what's going on. One more time. And then slowly finding your way to a neutral position. So just pause here. Good. So walking your knees back ever so slightly. Start to take the shoulders over the wrists, lifting the head, lifting the chest. Start to bend your arms. Start to bring those shoulders right in line with the elbows and then press right back up. And maybe we don't come down all the way. Maybe you come down halfway. That's okay. Those elbows pull straight back as you press up. Good. 2 more times. Keeping the chest up, resisting gravity. Getting those triceps involved. Last one. Good. From here, go ahead and sit. Grab a block. Take it between the knees, between the calves, and take your hips to your heels, bringing the hands to the tops of the knees. Just pause here. Roll out those shoulders and feel that difference. Beautiful. And you'll want to grab your other block when you're ready, bringing it out in front of you. So same thing we did in the beginning. You're going to take that block, squeeze it with your hands. Okay? You're going to start to rise up onto your knees, bringing those thighs parallel. Squeeze your butt. You're going to twist, lift. Good. Coming back to center. Sit down as you come back to center, and then we twist to the left. Squeeze the glutes, reach up high, and then sit to the block, come back to center. Again, to the right, squeezing those glutes. Coming back to center again, to the left. Beautiful. Coming back to center, to the right. Coming back to center, to the left. Good. One more time. Each side, nice and slow. Remember to squeeze your glutes. Press through the shins as you take those hips over the knees. Coming back to center and pause. Good. Set that block to the side. Just bring the hands to the knees. Roll out those shoulders a couple times and feel that difference. Just pause here. Beautiful. Go ahead and shift forward, grabbing both those blocks. We're going to place them back where they were, towards the top of your mat. And here we're going to find the toes tucked under. And keeping the hands pressing on the block, palms are flat. We're kind of gripping the block with our finger pads. We're going to start to hover those knees. Good. From here, you're going to start to shift into a downward facing dog. So maybe even a shorter down dog, but keep the hands on the blocks. Press down and forward into those blocks, feeling the arms nice and strong. Shrugging those shoulders up towards the ears. And then maybe you walk your feet back a little bit, making those little adjustments. Good. So we're going to take it forward to plank. So making sure you have a nice wide stance, taking the shoulders over the wrist. Keep pressing through the heels of the hands and then coming back to downward facing dog. Good. Do that again. Shifting forward. Push into those blocks. Belly in. And then shifting up and back. Kate, keeping the gaze with you. Do that 2 more times. Nice and slow. Good. 1 more. Good. From here, you're going to start to bend the knees. You're going to step forward towards your blocks. Now, right here, you're going to flip the blocks so that they're on their sides. So they come up a little bit higher. We're going to find a halfway lift here using the blocks. So keeping the fingertips on the blocks, find that neutral shape, pulling the low ribs in. And then exhale, keeping the hands on the blocks. Just fold over the legs. Good. Let those arms be nice and heavy. And now we straighten the arms using the blocks to bring the floor to us. Find that neutral halfway lift. And exhale, fold over the legs, keeping the weight equal in the feet. Good. One more time. And now this will bring you up to a standing position. Inhale, reach those arms up. And exhale, bring the arms down. 2 more. Inhale, reach up. And reach down. Good. 1 more. Reach up. This time palms come to touch. Pull the low ribs in. Take a side body stretch to the right. And nice and slow, coming back through center. Stretch up and fold to the left. Good. Coming back through center. Just take the hands to the low back. And here, just roll the shoulder blades back and try to pull the low ribs in. And all I want you to do is take your gaze up towards the sky, supporting the low back with your hands. And then gently take the gaze forward and release that. Great. So from here, go ahead and reach those arms up once again. And this time we're going to fold and bring our hands back to the blocks. Good. So here I want you to take a halfway lift. You're going to step your right foot between the blocks and step your left foot back and bring that back knee down. So we're coming into a lunge here. And you might need to take those blocks a little bit wider to support. Good. So using the blocks once again to bring the floor to you, and then I kind of lift the chest, keeping my hands on the blocks. Good. And then you're going to take those blocks with you. So gripping those blocks, you're going to shift back, bringing those blocks back, coming into this half split. So flexing through that right foot, and then bringing the blocks back with you, frame the foot, lift the chest. Good. Let's do that again. So taking the blocks with you, use them next to the hips to support, flex that right foot, and then shifting back forward, placing those blocks to frame the foot, lift the chest. Good. 1 more time. And this, whatever works for your body, you can keep the blocks where they are or move them with you. From here, you're going to take those hands off of the blocks, reach the arms up. You're going to capture that left wrist, and you're going to fold over to the right in this lunge shape. Just pause, standing strong on that right foot. Good. Coming back to center, bring the hands back to the blocks. From here, pick up that back knee and walk your left foot in. The back heel is going to stay up here. Our hands are flat to the blocks, and we're just going to find this halfway lift here. Pressing down and forward into your right foot. Just think about the right hip drawing back ever so slightly, keeping the hands on the blocks, keep the chest lifted. And if you feel okay here, you can start to stretch, but keeping that back heel up, making sure you're feeling supported. Engage that right leg. Just breathe. Good. And then we're going to bend that right knee. You're going to take your blocks forward for support. You're just going to switch out your legs. So step your left foot forward and step your right foot back, coming into that lunge once again, bringing your back knee down and using the block for support. So allowing that left knee to go past the ankle slightly, start to lift the chest, finding this crescent lunge shape. Both legs are strong, chest is lifted. Take a breath in and just pause on the exhale. Good. So bringing those blocks with you, you're going to start to shift back into that half split like we did on the other side. Really flex those toes. And then inhale, shifting back. Again, bringing the floor to you with those blocks, using them to guide. Good. Sit back. And shift forward. Take an inhale. And sit back. And sit forward. Good. Remember, this isn't about how it looks. It's just about how it feels. Good. Shift back 1 more time. Pause. And then we'll move back through. So shifting forward. Release those hands, capturing your right wrist this time. Standing strong on that front foot. Fold over to the left. Feeling that stretch in the side body. Breathe into that right side. And then coming back to center, hands to the blocks. Pick up that back knee, walk that back foot in, keeping the back heel up. We're focusing on this front leg, so pressing down and forward into that left foot. Hands stay on the blocks. Let your forehead just drop towards that left shin. Exploring the details, taking a breath and just pausing. Beautiful. And then go ahead and come back to your lunge and step that right foot to meet your left. Take a halfway lift here. So move the blocks out in front of you, and then you're going to flip them back onto their flat side, onto their big flat side, and step back to your plank. Good. So first time in plank here. Pulling the belly in, resisting the blocks. Now, just drop your knees, keeping the shoulders stacked over your wrists. Come down halfway. Those shoulders come in line with the elbows, and then press right back up. Good. Pick up your knees and shift into your downward facing dog. Good. Beautiful. Take an inhale, lift the heels. And just let the heels melt. Notice the difference. Good. From here, go ahead and just step your right foot forward, finding a lunge. This time the back knee is going to stay up. Sliding that left hand back just slightly so that you're supported underneath that shoulder. Find a twist here, reaching that right arm up. Keep pressing through that left hand, breathing into that side body. Just pause. Good. Bringing that right hand down. And bring the back knee down. Good. Inhale, reach the arms up, capturing that left wrist. Fold over to the right. And then coming back to center, grab those blocks. Go ahead and spin them on their thin side. Take them with you as you shift back to that half split, putting it together. Good. Take the blocks with you as you shift forward. Back knee sweeps up. And bring that left foot to meet your right. Keeping the blocks where they are. Start to find that halfway lift and bring yourself up to a stand. Bring palms to touch. Take it to the right. And slowly come back to center. Take it to the left. And slowly come back to center. From here, just pause, taking that left hand behind you and then taking that right hand behind you. And they don't have to interlace. They don't have to stack. You can just keep them reaching. Let the shoulder blades draw down the back. And just pause here, feeling your back pressing into your hands and your hands pressing into your back. Creating that equal and opposite energy. Take a breath. Feel the shoulder blades slide down the back. Just pause on the exhale. Good. Slowly release that. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, we'll dive over the legs. Good. Spinning those blocks back to their flat side. Taking that halfway lift and then stepping back to your plank, setting it up. Good. Release your knees first, keeping the shoulders over the wrists. Come halfway down, create that shelf. Press up, pick up your knees and shift back into your downward facing dog. Beautiful. Good. Step your left foot forward and pause. Keeping that back knee up. And you can make those little adjustments with the blocks. Whichever side is most comfortable for you, find that twist, reaching up with that left hand, reach, breathing into that left side body. Good. Keep pressing down to reach up. Inhale. And exhale, bringing that hand down, bring the back knee down. Good. Inhale, reach up, capturing that right wrist, take it over to the left, standing strong on that left foot. Good. Coming back to center, grab those blocks, spin them on their sides. Take it back with you for half splits. Good. Framing that foot once again. Back knee comes up, coming into that pyramid shape. Good. Bending that left knee. Bring the right foot to meet the left. Taking that halfway lift. Good. From here, coming all the way up to stand, bring palms to touch overhead. And this time, just bring hands to heart. Close the eyes. Check in. Take an inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, reach up. And here, we're just going to dive over the legs. You're going to grab one block, place the other block to the side. And we're going to set up for a frog pose. So you're going to take the block behind you. You're going to take your feet about as wide as your mat. Heels are going to come in, toes out. Now, the block can be all the way up depending on your hip flexibility. Maybe the block's here. Maybe the block is here, a little bit lower. Maybe the block is here, a little bit lower, okay? The goal is to be able to increase that range of motion through the hips and increase that leg strength so that eventually we may not need the block, okay? But for now, we don't want to compensate by letting the knees roll forward and the shoulders roll forward. So that's why we use the block to bring the floor to us. And sometimes even the most loosey-goosey people need a block. So we want to be able to find this lift through the chest, right? So we're using the block to give our weight to the block so that we can start to activate the muscles needed in order to execute this shape without the block. So pressing through the feet, start to press your knees out. Feel the inner arches of the feet lift, and then elbows press into knees as you lift the chest. Start to engage the legs, pull the belly in, and just gauge where you are. Maybe this is a great place to stay. This is awesome. If you feel okay here, you can start to adjust that block and take the block lower. And even if you do have the ability to do this without the block is there to support so that we can explore the details and we're not straining or suffering through it. So just pause here. Notice what has to happen to engage the legs to start to feel a little bit lighter on that block. And then when you're ready, go ahead and shift forward, spin your heels, and you'll find a forward fold here. Go ahead and grab your block and get it out of your way. Finding a ragdoll arm here, so then releasing the arms, keeping that nice wide fold. Just let the head be nice and heavy here. And then when you're ready, go ahead and release your hands and just come on down to your knees. Coming into a seat, we're going to grab a block and we're going to find a wide straddle. Not super wide, but just until you feel a little slight stretch through the inner thighs and the groin. What we do want to avoid is this kind of dumping in the pelvis and rolling forward with our shoulders. So you may need a block on both ends. If you do need a block, you're going to place a block underneath. And again, adjust. And you'll grab your other block for support. So wherever you are, you can be up on the block or you can be just seated. So wherever you are, you're going to grab that one block and you're going to place it right to the inner knee of one leg. So I'm starting on my right side and I'm going to take my elbow and I'm going to take my hand behind my head and let my elbow rest on that block. And again, you'll need to make those little adjustments so it works for your body. And you're going to take this left arm and just reach up and over so that you're able to support your head with your right hand and find a side body stretch to that left side. Now I want you to kind of flex your feet and try to spin your toes out so you feel a slight engagement through that right inner thigh. And just breathe here. And then start to take that left hand behind you and spin your gaze to the sky, continuing to support the back of your head with that right hand. And if that's too intense, you can just leave your left hand resting on the left thigh. Good. From here, go ahead and come on up, and we'll switch sides. So taking that block to the inner knee, and again, it can be up or down, whatever's most comfortable for you, and depending on where your body is today. So you really want to be able to support the head with that left hand, and that right arm is just going to come up and over, staying heavy through that right hip. Breathing into that right side, and then exploring the feet, flexing the feet, feeling the differences between each side. And then you can start to slowly bring that right hand behind you if you'd like, creating a little bit of an opening through that right shoulder. Again, continue to support the head, or you can just gently let that right hand rest on the thigh. Good. Coming back to center. Nice and slow. Grab that block and you place it out in front of you, and you're just going to shift forward so that you can bring your forehead to the block. And again, you'll make those little adjustments, especially if you're sitting on the block. You're going to have to bring that a little bit closer to you, and depending on your flexibility in the inner thighs will depend on where the block is. So here I'm just bringing my hand to either side of the block, and the forehead is going to rest, and I'm just going to breathe here. Again, nothing forced, nothing strained. But we want to keep a slight activation through the legs. Good. As you inhale, go ahead and sit up. And go ahead and close those feet. You can face towards the front of your mat once again, keeping a block with you so that you're able to reach it easily.
We're going to find this Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, hands to the shins, taking a nice wide diamond shape, and sit up tall. And again, you may need your block to slide underneath you to lift the hips so that you feel that lift. So wherever you are, bringing the hands to the shins, allow the shoulder blades to draw down the back and just pulling the belly in as you sit up tall. And then slowly start to shift forward, using the hands on the ankles as leverage, pulling the belly in and pressing the knees down. Good, and then you'll inhale, find a little halfway lift here. So lifting the chest, lift the gaze, and exhale, stretch. Good. Inhale, lifting the gaze, finding some length through the spine. And exhale, stretch. Good. Coming back to center. And coming onto your back, pulling your knees into your chest. And coming back to where we began. Good. So here I want you to come into a half happy baby. So release that left foot to the mat, grabbing the outer edge of that right foot, pulling that knee down. And then taking that ankle to the knee and coming into figure 4. Noticing the difference than when we first began. Notice if you're still holding tension anywhere. Just start to release it. Pulling that leg towards you for a deeper stretch. And then switching it out, release that right foot, take that into a half happy baby on this left side, pulling that knee down to the outside of the rib cage, really flexing that foot. And then taking that ankle to knee, grabbing the back of that right thigh and taking that into figure 4 once again. And just letting your low back and your hips relax. Just noticing the differences than when we first began. Pulling the legs towards you for a little bit of a deeper stretch if needed. And then releasing that, pulling both knees back into the chest. Go ahead and cactus your arms. And you'll drop your knees to the right, finding a twist, looking over your left shoulder, and just pause here. Breathing into that left rib cage. And then inhale, slowly coming back to center, taking it to the left. Good. Inhale, coming back to center. And take your arms around your shins. Bring your forehead into your knees. Just feeling the spine on the mat. Take an inhale. Squeeze everything in. And then we'll find just a moment of stillness here. So extending the legs down, taking your arms down by your sides. Letting the palms flip to the sky. And really just giving your weight to the mat once again. Taking a few breaths here just to let everything settle. No rush, just letting everything absorb from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes. Finding some deep belly breaths here, letting the belly rise and fall as you continue to release tension through the neck and shoulders, behind the jaw, between the brow. And then point the toes, reach your arms above your head. Find that full body stretch, taking up all that space, and slowly bring your knees in, gently rocking side to side. And eventually making your way over onto one side and pressing yourself up to your seat. We always want to create this final shape with intention, so if you need your block again, sitting that underneath you to feel lifted and secure in this final shape. Bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Just bow your chin to your chest and just notice all the differences we've made. You get to take this energy with you, so keep it and let it go with you the rest of your day. Give yourself that honor and that salute for showing up. And then here, bringing your thumbs to your forehead, lift the gaze, take a breath in. Finding gratitude for this space, for our practice, and for all things, we bow. Thank you so much. Much love. I hope you enjoyed this session. Keep coming back to it, and we'll see you for the next one. Ciao.